Yeah, welcome everybody. This might be episode 6, 7, depending on how the last one gets posted, and we'll see what happens. And today we have here Jimmy Miller. Are you from Utah, Jimmy?
So I grew up in California, Northern California,
Okay.
and then I moved to Utah my senior year of high school.
Okay, nice. And now you're in Utah.
Yeah, now I'm in Utah. Yeah.
Where do you live in Utah?
I live just south of Salt Lake.
How close to the Pickler are you?
There's picklers everywhere,
Yeah.
all over.
Are we gonna get some of those in California soon?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope they can expand as fast as they claim.
How many of those are there right now? How many Picklers?
I think they said that they've signed 280 something
280
franchises, commitments.
commitments, and how many are there like right now?
I think right now open there 8, but by the end of the year they're expecting 45.
45.
And they're having
Dude.
starting in Q3, they're gonna have one open every week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do we know what the profit margins are for that?
I mean, I've seen what George wears and what he drives, so I think they're okay.
Does he have a Rolex?
He doesn't have that Rolly yet.
Not yet?
He's still counting his steps on that Apple Watch, so it takes him a minute.
That's probably the reason why he could afford me in Stack.
Yeah.
No, that's great. How involved are you with the Pickler?
So I don't have any. They just sponsor my podcast.
Yeah.
So Tyler and I podcast, but those guys, George and Austin, Steve, I've known those guys for a minute, and honestly, it's one of those things where you see your friends do cool stuff, and so you just kind of want to rally around them and support them. And so I'm more of a fanboy, dude, than anything.
A really good one. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, I mean, I've known Tyler for a long time, but truth is, I don't think anybody knew about you before, King of the Court podcast. Very good podcast. That's the only one me and my fiance watch, by the way, and she loves you. But how did that get started?
So Tyler, I've known Tyler for a while, a couple of years, and we just from pickleball, just from playing together. I would see him, I would see him on the courts and things, and we just kind of became friends. And then one day, I've kind of known a little bit for talking some shit on the court, and, just having fun. And one day he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, dude, this girl that I play with, my partner, Jillian Braverman, she was talking, Jilly B was talking crap about me, saying I was a bad partner." And he's like, "I want to start this podcast, and just one of the things I want to do is just kind of address it." And he's like, "So do you want to just come on?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go on his podcast on this, and we'd been talking about it for a while, but I go on, and honestly, I just kind of went hard.
Yeah.
And it blew up, dude. It's crazy. It's been a whirlwind for real.
Yeah, no, 100%. And honestly, it's one of the few podcasts, like I said, that I still watch to this day. I think a lot of them get a little, wishy-washy. It's, a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the mixture between you and Tyler is great. I like how, Tyler kind of stays out of the drama and you kind of bring the drama on.
Yeah.
Is that something that was talked about beforehand?
No, not at all. To be honest with you, when I went on there, I was like, no one's going to watch this. We don't have anything to lose. And I kind of thought it was how Jill, to be honest with you, how she rolled her eyes at him and she was super annoyed. And I just thought it was funny. And so I just was like, dude, I just want to make fun of this. And that's really how it started. And then, I kind of dropped some bombs about, Christian and Annalie, and I kind of Tyson McGuffin, and I kind of went at a few different people. But again, I was like, dude, nobody's who's watching it?
Yeah.
Right? Tyler's mom and his dad and his brothers. And then it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing. And so, yeah, I think the biggest thing is we were just look, let's just keep it real and, love us or hate us. But I didn't have any expectations. I didn't think I was gonna, become friends with DJ Young and
Big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's me and then Drew Brees, right?
Yeah. I mean, DJ's the top. He's the top. And so when we started it was just something that we were just kind of doing for fun. I mean, we thought it'd be cool, and then it just kept growing, and that's kind of, it's kind of exploded into other opportunities,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, some of those opportunities would be probably sponsors, right? So you got the Pickler that sponsors you guys, which is awesome. Was there maybe a talk, maybe a difficult, easy talk between you and Tyler to see how you were going to split, maybe the sponsorship money, maybe how you guys are going to...
It's funny because, so when we first started, I think Tyler's ultimate goal was to just have, like me come on 1 week. Does that make like just have me and then have different guests?
Yeah.
And after the first episode, George, actually, the pickler, told Tyler, he said, dude, you got to keep him. Like, you're making a big mistake. Like, he's your ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Even though George thought that Tyler should have a higher percentage than me, he thought Tyler should have a little bit more, but whatever, we worked that out.
Yeah. Sounds like it's 50-50 right now.
Yeah, but now it's 50-50. And so, yeah, we just decided to but dude, like all businesses, like, we're boys and all, but all businesses, there's discussion there for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like, look, dude, it's not worth my time to not get 50-50. Like if I'm going to help you grow this, just like everything else, like let's go 50-50. And I think Tyler felt like he'd put a little bit more time into it up to that point.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I see both sides of it, but yeah, we worked it out. So everything's 50-50. Sponsors, I think both of us, if you look at the sponsorship, like people come to both of us, for sponsors now. And we turned down a lot of sponsors, honestly.
Oh, really? Why is that?
We don't want to have like a 20-minute ad read
Yeah.
at the beginning of every episode or in the middle of every episode. And then also we want sponsors that like we actually, if people are going to really buy their shit that we're trying to, that are sponsoring us, we want it to be stuff that we actually like and we would use. And I'm sure you get that with
just like F3.
Yeah,
it's
like you're
really good.
Yeah, you're drinking
really
F3
good.
right now. Like you're legit. Like you walked in with it. Like you're drinking it. Yeah. So I didn't want we've had people come to us with different things, and we're like, that's not something we'd really use, or we don't really. That's not that good.
What are some of those?
Give me
the tea.
I mean, there's always sponsors but we've had drinks come to us, right? Like we've had tons of energy drinks, which that seems to be like the big the pickle space.
Are you Mormon?
So I grew up Mormon, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is true or not, but there's something about caffeine or something that.
So Mormons aren't supposed to There's not really a rule against it. It's like I don't know how to explain it. George would be better at this part, but it's more like a suggestion to just keep healthy things in your body.
Okay.
And caffeine is one of those things where.
How does the mullet come in play? Because he wasn't willing to do mullet with me.
I know. The problem with his mullet is he loves his hair. That's all he's got. Like the dude's 5'5" and that's all he's got. So he's got to keep his hair. I mean, literally, yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Yeah. No, I actually.
But bro, Mormons drink a lot of caffeine.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
I think it would have to do something with like hot drinks, like coffee and tea.
Yeah,
I read something.
So it's called the word of wisdom, and you're not supposed to have I think it specifically says like hot stimulating beverages, but
yeah, is alcohol allowed?
No, alcohol is not allowed.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't drink or smoke either, so we're good. But yeah, funny enough, like I talked to these people a while back, and they sent me like 3 cases of like 12 drinks each, and I probably had about 3 today, just to try the different flavors and stuff. Yeah. And they're all really good. And then the first thing I did before I came here was like, I need to get everyone a drink because it was just that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I haven't turned down any sponsorships personally, but
no, I mean I just mean you just want something that's like you can get behind.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. No, I agree. Let me ask you about, obviously you do a lot of talking in the King of the Court podcast. Has that been a thing where, people maybe have something against you, or do most people like you, and there's a couple people out there?
Yeah, it's interesting because with the King of the Court, I went on the podcast, and one day I was told, so I had met Richie Twazin, who's the owner of the Black Bears, at the grand opening of a pickler in Utah. And George introduced us. I literally met Richie for like 10 minutes. Yeah. Right. I think when we maybe played a game together, I think it was me and George against Tyler and Richie, and we played like a quick game, and that was it. Like it was like a 10-minute introduction. And then I was on the podcast one day, and I was kind of joking, and I was like, Richie, like, I know about pickleball. Hire me as a GM.
Yeah.
And he calls me. Right.
Just right away.
Yeah. And he was like, look, like, I think that we could figure something out. Maybe, let's have you as an assistant GM to start and kind of figure things out. Well, I was cool with that. But the problem with it was because I was saying so many controversial things on the podcast, it became this big conflict. So right before the draft last July, the New York draft, the night before, like we were going to the draft, I get this phone call, and they're like, you can't be a GM. You can't go to the draft. We don't want you here. The stuff you're saying is like too controversial. Well, come to find out, Jill had listened to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Jill started, going to Steve Kuhn and going to Danny, who, the pro player liaison, and essentially telling them that, like, who is this guy? I can't believe he's part of MLP. And so Richie was like, what do we do? I don't think I can have you as a GM. I don't think I have. And so I kind of made a joke back then, and I was like, well, the pod comes first.
Yeah.
And we've kind of like carried that over to almost like our mantra, where like it doesn't matter, like, if I get other opportunities, like the podcast is going to be the first thing.
Yeah.
And so when I went to after that happened, I go to the my first event. It was TOC in Utah, and I was a little bit like, I don't know. I think I was a little bit worried about people's response would be, because that was the first event. Like the podcast was about a month and a half old.
Yeah.
First event I went to, and honestly, the response was like the fans loved it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't go 5 feet without people coming up and talking to me and taking pictures. But the players was what I was a little bit worried about. But every player was cool. I mean, every player but one. Tyson didn't love me. Tyson McGuffin doesn't love me. But most players were super cool. They were chill. Even guys that like I've said stuff to, dude, like Ryan Sherry walked up to me in Vegas and he gave me $100 and he said, "Hey, now I have you on retainer, so you can't talk shit." Like even players that I've said, Julian Arnold, dude. I always say shit about Julian Arnold, and he came up to me in Palm Springs, and he was like, "Hey, what do I need to do?" And it's like trying to talk, but like in a funny way, and he was super chill. And then like he grabs his Gucci bag and he was like looking at me and he's like pointing at it, So everybody's cool about it. I think they realize that like it's not like I'm not like super malicious. I'm not trying to, but the only guy that gets in his feelings is Tyson. Tyson is in his feelings. He hates me. He wouldn't play on Tyler's MLP team. Refused. He, is threatening to choke me out, like all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah, that's a lot for sure. And honestly, just between, I could say you and I, but obviously it's going to go online. But do you think, obviously, I mean, I know you decently well. You're my GM now. We get along really well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know if you ever even said something about me, but if you said something about me about XYMC, I would honestly just laugh. I think it'd be pretty funny. And then I just move on and be like, that was funny as shit, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that people that get butthurt about it, like, have some sort of like insecurities?
Yeah, I think so. I can see both sides, because I do think that like Tyson feels like he's building this brand, right? Mm-hmm. He feels like he's done a really good job of building this brand, and he has. Like he has there's a certain type of fan that follows Tyson McGuffin, right? I mean, they're that guy, right? They're the red-blooded American, pound on my chest, mullet guys. Like they all probably drive jacked up trucks with Confederate flags in the back. Like those are his people.
Yeah.
And I think he's built that brand, and he pounds his Miller Lights after, and those dudes love him. Yeah. But when I kind of started exposing some of the things, like, and they weren't even, it was just funny stuff, bro. Like it was like he was going through the airport and someone sent me a picture. This is the other thing. I didn't do anything. Someone just sent me a picture, and his wife's carrying this big ass Gucci bag, right? And Tyson's walking behind her with his hands in his pockets, not helping her. And I was just joking about it. I was like, bro, you can't even help your wife carry that bag? Like, messed up. Like, chivalry's dead, huh?
Yeah.
And like, that's how it all started. That was it. Something really simple. But the problem with it is he was sending us texts on the side to Tyler saying he loves the podcast, and then turning around and talking shit to other players about it. And so it's like, dude, be real. Keep it 100. Like,
it's a one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of how it blew up. And then he went on his podcast and talked shit. And then we started, and then just went back and forth. And so, I mean, I think he feels like we're tearing down his brand, and we're kind of exposing things, but we're not, we're more trying to be funny. Like I don't give a shit about like, Tyson personally. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm never going to be his friend. He's never going to be my friend, but I'm sure he's nice. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's like, yeah, dude, do your thing. Right. But like, if I see your wife carrying a freaking 100-pound bag all by herself with your hands in your pockets, whatever, I think that's funny.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make fun of you for it.
Of course. It's like a little bit of that older brother, tough love sort of thing. And if he wants to just kind of take it personally, then it is what it is.
Yeah,
but you don't mean it that way.
No, yeah, exactly. Like I don't have anything personal against him. I don't even know him well enough, you know? He's the dude that like when we were in Dallas, so I saw him in Dallas and we were walking down like this kind of tight corridor area and he's walking right towards me. This is the first time I've seen him in person since, you know, he like lost the shit on Tyler when he flipped him off. And
you probably tower over him though.
Yeah. And so he looks at me and he literally goes, fuck you. And then he puts his head down and walks by. And I was like, at least like look me in the face if you're going to do it. Like, you know, like just little things like that. And it was just funny. And I'm like, that's fine. Like he's got to do whatever he needs to do. But it's never meant to be personal, bro. It's supposed to be like, you know, it's fun, but we're going to keep it real. I mean, Colin just lost his crap on a little girl and, you know, on Ava Ignatowicz.
What happened there?
He freaking went off on her and told her she was a loser and she's never going to get out of the first round and enjoy losing for eternity. Like started saying all this stuff because she was saying, come on during their match.
Yeah.
And he got in his feelings and started, you know, getting all upset about it. And like that stuff to me is what I think that nobody else talks about on podcasts. And that's the stuff that's kind of, I just think it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. And it's a little, like I said, it's like a little like drama too.
It is. Right? It's drama and it's kind of like an insight. Like not everybody on, you know, on tour, you know this, bro. They don't get along.
Yeah.
Not everybody's best friends, right? Not everybody loves everybody else. And there's people that are banging this guy and banging this girl. And they're, you know, all these things that are happening. And that stuff is like the fans want that inside.
They do. And you're that guy.
Yeah.
You're
like,
the one that's
yeah.
How do you get most of this information? Is it Tyler?
No, so that's one of the craziest parts. Everybody at the beginning was like, Tyler's feeding Jimmy what he doesn't have the balls to say.
Yeah.
And that was never the truth. Like, I get more information than Tyler ever thought of.
Now I understand why. Back then, though.
But even back then, I had friends that were pro players and things like that. And I would just there's people that would just send us info. And like, now it's crazy. Like, now, I get my messages are blowing up nonstop, but like but there's stuff that we don't even touch and we'll get like just, hey, this happened, hey, you know, and it's like, okay. I mean, the freaking Donna story, right, with Riley Newman and
like pissing in the plant and like a threesome.
Yeah, and then him.
Do we know who that was?
Yeah, we know who that was.
I don't watch anything, so who was it?
So it was Pat Smith and Shelby Bates
and Riley,
but Shelby. I asked Shelby straight up because here's the other thing, dude, is I'll just straight up ask him because I like rumors are funny and I think it's funny and like we'll try to be clear, hey, it's a rumor. But like I just asked Shelby what happened. I was like, Shelby, like, did you ever threesome with Riley and Pat?
Yeah.
And she's like, absolutely not. I was, in her words, I was saving lives that night. Pat was so drunk he didn't know where he was. Riley didn't know where he was. She's like, I literally was just trying to make sure that those guys didn't kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like her story. And she's like, there was no tennis grunts like Donna said. Because that Donna lady said there's like tennis grunts coming from the other room.
But maybe she was like trying to pick them up from the floor or something.
Yeah, and that's basically what she said, that it was like, and so the story's totally escalated. But, you know, you ask those guys about it. And you know, there's obviously two sides. The truth's probably in the middle somewhere. But it's just like that stuff is just, I don't know. I just think that stuff's entertaining and like, you know, it's just kind of funny. Like the lady wrote a full-on freaking like novel about it and how like, you know, right? She sent the freaking Ring doorbell, her video to PPA.
So it's somewhat true.
Yeah.
Like
there's stuff that happened that's true. Yeah. Like there's video of Riley pissing in her plants.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So like if he ever comes here on your pod, bro, you got to move that.
Or that one.
Yeah, or that one.
There's two of them.
For sure. You got to get those out of there. Yeah.
What, how many views are you guys getting on the King of the Pot?
So YouTube, we get around anywhere from 12, 15,000, and then Spotify, and we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. We probably get another 10 or so per episode. So it's been pretty good. And then the other thing is like we have like a website, pickleballrumors.com.
Oh.
So we run that too.
Yeah,
it hasn't been updated in a minute, but we run that, and then we have a Discord. So basically, it's just like a chat room for people. I think that has like 1,000 members.
Yeah. You guys are going all in.
Yeah, so we're just trying to like, you know, kind of be all in the space, and you know, I've commentated on PPA events, right? I mean, I've got the GM job for the Black Bears, so we're definitely like deep into the space.
Yeah. Do you ever think it was gonna get to this point?
No way.
You're everywhere now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you.
Yeah,
You're
no way.
probably the only pickleball player in the world that's not a pro that everyone knows.
No, yeah, I never, dude. I know, like, I never, and that's what I'm always really clear about. Like, dude, I'm not a pro. Like, I'm freaking, I suck at pickleball.
Yeah.
But like,
well, we played the other day.
Yeah,
that wasn't
yeah, I'm not terrible, but I'm better than George. But like,
How much better?
Oh, dude, George could not handle me.
What is
my duper's 5.097, but I haven't put in a match in 2 years.
Are you part of the owner of the like PIKKL thing? Pickle?
No, the paddle.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But it's similar, similar spelling.
Very similar.
You guys should file some sort of infringement.
We'll cut that out just to make sure we don't give him any clout.
Yeah.
All the viewers that I get,
Yeah.
Do you think Tyson's followers are real?
No, we know they're not. Dude, we looked it up. Bro, we looked it up.
You did?
Yeah, there's actually a page you can go to, and it tells you how many are real and how many are fake.
And it goes like this, or
yeah. So first of all, he gained 20,000 followers overnight on 2 different occasions.
Wow.
And then his engagement for 100,000 followers is literally like 6%. And it tells you how many are real and how many are fake on this thing we ran because we were just curious.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah. Well, like none of his followers, none of them are real.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible. So yeah, he buys followers. He buys teeth. Like, I mean, everything is,
How many pros out there do you think are looking at Tyson McGuffin and how he's built himself, and they're like, oh, like, I'm going to buy some followers too and see if I can get a sponsorship here and there?
Yeah, I think that a lot of them are. And I mean, dude, you're seeing, this is smart for pros, right? Like you doing a podcast is smart, bro. Yeah. Like you have to start building your brand.
Yeah.
Because that's what you guys are, right? You're your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like your results are great and whatever, if you win some golds, but if you're not Ben Johns, nobody cares about your results as much as they care about the brand, and they care about like DJ Young, right? They care about you and Stack, you and Engage, right? All of these things. And so I think a lot of players are trying to go with that Tyson McGuffin model where they're trying to build up that brand. And so I think you'll see more of them buying followers, but also how many of them have hired social media? The freaking social media people, bro, like they are making a killing.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like 3-4 people out there for 100 different players.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Like you have social media, right? Like you have.
I do, but I kind of do it myself.
Yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I hire some people here and there, just to kind of maybe take some pictures and maybe take some videos.
Yeah.
My boy Nick right here, obviously, he does a lot for me when it comes to the podcast.
Yeah.
But when it comes to tournaments, honestly, just got into the point where I'm not gonna name any names. I don't want to talk any shit, but like the price ratio to like the quality, it's not good.
No, dude, we
anybody can do it.
We're pumped about the people that person we just hired, right?
Yeah.
Like you met Diana and Yoshi.
Yeah.
I mean, they went all out like at that photo shoot and stuff, and they're trying to get content for the whole season, and they're trying to do all this stuff. But the price that you have to pay for social media people, dude, these guys it's a lot. And
without any credentials.
Yeah, without any credentials, and most of them are just people that have kind of picked it up on their own and freelance and like, oh, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah. And I do know, I mean, then again, my boy Nick, I have a homie called Oscar. Like, a lot of them are, like, self-taught, and they do maybe Reddit, maybe YouTube.
Yeah.
But one of my friends, Oscar, he's done so much work for, I think it's this brand called, like, RFVV or something, which is clothing, and they're huge.
Yeah.
So, when they do work like that, it's like, okay, like, maybe you didn't go to college for this, but you're really fucking good, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them right now in the pickleball space, like, it is easy. I just bring my iPhone and charge $100 a reel, and I'm gonna put it into this AI modificator, and everything's gonna work out great.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what a lot of them do. And we like, our old social media girl, she was fine, like but we just felt like everything was starting to look the same, and everything was. And then there was like reels that were being posted, with Major League Pickleball, like your teams turn over every 6 months.
Yeah.
And we were having reels posted from season, 1 of the very first MLP, like, and it just wasn't staying fresh and wasn't, we wanted like new stuff and new, it's got to look good. And like you said, there's just a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, I'll charge you, $1,500 a tournament plus travel.
Yeah.
Or $500 a day plus you pay my travel. I mean, we had someone legit, bro. We had them. They wanted $60,000 a year to do our MLP team.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 events. They wanted $60,000 a year plus travel, plus food stipend, plus rental car. Plus they said if I need to hire an assistant, you need to pay them. And I was like,
who are you?
Yeah, like what? Like
the Drew Brees of content creation.
Yeah, like what is happening? Like what does that do for us? Like, are we gonna have 1 million followers after this? Like, I'm confused.
Did this person have any like credibility with anything? Or?
Yeah, I mean no, not really. I mean, they had like 1 or 2 pros that they were working with, and they were like showed us how they had grown their social media, but they hadn't like.
Wasn't anything crazy.
No, not at this point. They're still pretty raw. And they may get there and may like blow them up, but at this point, they weren't good enough to command that type of money right now.
Yeah, 100%. Let's fast forward onto MLP draft.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably have covered a lot of this in your own podcast, and you guys should go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. King of the Court. Obviously, Premier goes through. Are there any picks in there that either should have, not get picked up, do you think? Or are there any picks in there that should have been challenger? What are your thoughts on the Premier side of things?
Yeah, I think Premier was interesting. I would say, so I did this like mock Premier draft, and I was actually pretty accurate all the way until there's a few picks that I thought were interesting. Like, honestly, Tyler went high. Tyler at 30 was pretty high. I think that was higher than most people. He's gone 4th round the last 2 times.
But it was different, right? Because this time you could it was like you were
bidding.
You were bidding,
and Connor Pardo with the Black Diamonds, he's building that new facility.
Thing looks sick.
Yeah, it's insane, right? He's partnering. I think the Pickler has a lot to do with that, and the Picklers, they actually designed that facility, and they're the ones that are honestly like that's. He had an idea, and they created the vision.
Yeah, so, shout out to the Pickler.
Yeah, shout out to the Pickler for that. But like he really wanted Utah people, right? If you're going to build a facility like that, you want your players to actually play in that facility. Yeah. And so I think that's part of the reason Tyler went a little bit early is because Connor really wanted to make sure that he got him. But I was shocked. Bro, I thought you were going Premier. I've told you this. I told you this before. Will Howells was interesting because he doesn't have any great results on PPAs, right? I mean, he has some APP results, but even in APPs, he's not like dominant. He's not Daescu. He's not, so that was a little bit of a shock. I think that's a, it's an upside pick, you hope, but.
Well, he's also one of those guys, right? It's like it really has to do with where you train and who knows you.
Exactly, and he's a South Florida guy, and he's in Delray, and he's playing with Annalie every day, and he's playing with Ignatowicz and Anna Bright and J-Dub, and and then the other thing is Johnny Goldberg loves him, and if Goldberg is a guy that a lot of people respect. Yeah. And so if he says, hey, this guy can play.
He has a good eye for a lot of these like up and comers.
Yeah, Rohrabacher was a Goldberg.
Goldberg.
He was a Goldberg find, Yeah. So Kate Fahey was interesting. I was surprised that, that she went Premier. I think they're trying to hit another home run.
Yeah.
With her. Kelsey Grambo. I mean, the girls are.
Was she Premier? Kelsey?
Yeah, she went Premier too.
Really?
She's on Annalie's team. She's on the 5s. Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
What?
Bro, the 5s are Annalie, Grambo, Howells, and I can't remember their other dude.
I thought it was like Humberg.
Oh, Humberg. Sorry, you're right. It was Humberg. Never mind. Humberg. Yeah. Humberg, Howells.
Yeah, I like Humberg. I think she's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humberg, Howells. Who's the other guy they have?
I have James, right? Was it not James?
No. On Annalie's on the 5s? I can't remember. Anyways.
Yeah, whatever.
Her team sucks. Oh, Zane.
Oh, yeah, Zane. An actual clown. Love you, Zane.
Yeah. He fits. He doesn't even have to wear a uniform.
He does fit, yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of stretches, but I think everybody's trying to hit that home. Like Augie, right? Like Augie's good. I think Augie's a great player, but at the time he was drafted, his only result was one with Tyra.
Yeah.
In mixed. And like he in fact the day of the tournament, North Carolina, he didn't even get out of mixed qualies.
Yeah.
And then he goes Premier. But obviously he made a deep run and he's legit.
Yeah, he's good. The only thing, and I talked to Augie about this back in our pod, it's one of those things where, you do well, the timing is right. The question is also, we've never seen him play singles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So nobody knows if he's a tennis player, so it should be fine, but nobody knows how good of singles he can play.
Yeah, recency bias is the biggest thing for MLP. That's what if I was giving any advice to a player, literally I would tell them, look, your tournaments leading up to MLP, leading up to the draft are the most important tournaments.
Yeah.
Because I promise you that if you had a bronze medal the tournament before a draft, you get picked premier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also that kind of like you said, where people train, there's bullshit politics involved in it too, right? Like, everybody is, and I complained about this, but everybody there was this weird precedent that was set where the first round picks were able to pick their team.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Anna Bright is picking people that she trains with, people that she's familiar with, people that she wants.
Yeah.
But if we're going to be a legit sports league and we're going to be, we're going to be like everybody else, like we're going to have some credibility. You got to hire GMs that know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have GMs that are watching film that understand left side, right side players, right? You got to have GMs that understand, strengths and weaknesses, things like that. And you just can't let these first round picks pick their friends.
Yeah.
Or pick people, and because that's where you get into trouble, right? That's where, you see like the pandas, right? It's just a weird, like putting Lucy and Matt. It's just a weird, and Callie all on one team, right? Because they all wanted to play together.
Yeah.
It just ends up like they don't always fit and the pieces don't always fit, but they just let these guys, pick whoever. And was Tyson's issue. He was mad he didn't get to pick his own team.
Yeah.
He wanted Zhao Mei and Brooke Buckner, not Alex Trong and Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost his shit over it because he felt like he should have a say. And I get the input, but in the end, like, it's not his money. It's not his team.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can take their input because you guys do play with everybody and you do know people, right? Like, it's not like you guys don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
But there should still be an extra level from a GM that, you know.
100%. And I think all input, and information is good. I was a first round pick last year in Challenger when I was with the Masters.
Number 1 overall, right?
Number 3.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know how. But
bro, I don't know how you you fell to us.
But that said, when I was talking to Mikey, he asked me and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? I think this is good. But ultimately it's always up to in our case it was up to the GM and James Blake was involved too.
Yeah.
But tell me, I have a question. So obviously you guys picked Rafa, then you guys picked me back to back, then all the way to 30 and 31 back to back, it was Amanda and Emily, right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the team captain?
So that's a good question. I mean, I think we should have like a vote on it. You know. I mean,
how many people are voting? You?
Well, I think I think the players should vote.
And
then if there's a tie, then maybe Richie.
No, but you can't do that because then Rafa would do him, then I would do me.
Will you vote for yourself?
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I've never lost to Rafa in men's, ever.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that maybe we should have you guys each write an essay on why you should be the team captain.
I think it should be a vote of like George, Richie, you, and Jason.
I think we do need to come together and figure that out.
And I think it should be like a hidden. You guys should just not tell anybody who you voted for, and it should be all of you, all four of you.
Should we put a C on your jersey for a captain? Like they do like in hockey and
I think we
basketball?
I think we should.
That'd be sick. I also told them that they should do something because the Black Bears have 3 championships.
Yeah.
So you know how like in the NBA, like the Lakers, they have all their titles like on their jerseys. They should do something like that for the Black Bears.
100% they should. Dude, the funniest thing was as soon as I got picked, first of all, I was super fucking happy. I'm not gonna lie. Secondly, the next day, my girl told me about all the Tyson and wanting to leave the team and blah, blah, blah. So I called you and I was going to fuck with you and be like, hey, man, I just don't get along with Rafa. We like chirp at each other. I don't want to play with him. I demand the trade, but you never even picked up.
Well, bro, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I had an instinct.
Yeah. No, but dude, I think we're. I mean, obviously I'm biased. And I'm part of the team, but we're definitely top 2,
bro. So let's just be real, clear, and candid here.
Yeah.
Like you had never played with Amanda,
Never.
right? So you're gonna play with Amanda. She's a lefty.
Yeah.
How was it? I mean, you didn't play a lot with her, but how did it go? Like, were you surprised? Not surprised? Does she have a lot to work on?
Yeah. So funny enough, as we were talking about, who do you guys think we should pick, and what we thought, and blah blah blah. And I had never seen Amanda play, and we ended up picking. Well, you guys ended up picking Amanda,
and we threw out a lot of names. Like, there's a lot of names that were thrown out, and we were set on her.
Wanted Amanda, and dude, I had no idea. I never really seen her do well. And then obviously we went to do the photo shoot and we played some together. I think she's one of the best girls in Challenger. Like no joke. I even texted her. I think I texted her the day after, so maybe today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you were amazing yesterday. I can't wait to play with you. We're going to just wreck people.
Yeah. Bro, she's good, right?
It was a really, really good pick.
Yeah. People are sleeping on her. And we did this combine, right? We did a combine.
At the Pickler.
At the Pickler, yep. Pickler hosted it. It was pretty sick. And we brought out 40 players. We flew them all in.
Yeah.
And one of the players was Amanda. And Amanda was just on our list, right? At the time, we're like, yeah, let's see some more of Amanda. Because she does play mostly APPs, and she hasn't really played MLP.
Yeah,
I think she was a sub for one.
Well, she played. I think she got picked up for Washington once, right?
Yeah,
and she got dropped or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so we bring her out there, and we brought in some other higher level pros to play with.
Yeah,
them.
Tyra was there.
Tyra was there. We brought in Vivian Glausman, even though, obviously we knew enough about her, but we wanted to see these guys against, premier level competition. And Amanda, we kept metrics. So what we did was we had Pickleball Vision come in and they took stats of everything, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like this AI software that tracks every shot, every miss, every third. It shows you how high it is above the net. Their drives, like Chao Yi Wang, who was picked by the Night Owls.
Yeah.
Her drives are literally they're
insane.
Quarter inch above the net.
Yeah.
Just insane. So anyways, all the stats, we were watching her, we're like, yeah, she's good. But you can tell she's good just by watching.
Yeah.
But then the more we started digging into the stats, it was holy shit, she's really good.
Yeah.
And then you should look at the end and you realize that she had finished on top above Tyra, above Glausman, above Alex Trong, in all these different categories. And we're like, damn, she's legit. And so our worry was the Breakers were at this combine. And so the Breakers had the pick right before us. And so we were worried that they had access to all the same stuff we did.
Yeah.
That the Breakers were going to take her. And when they didn't, we were pumped.
Who did they pick?
They took Rachel Retger.
The Breakers, huh?
Yeah, they ended up taking Rachel Retger over Amanda, which we'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah. And that team is Glausman, Colin Schick, Retger, and Patrick Kwaka.
Yeah.
Dude, the funny thing is, the first time I played Patrick Kwaka, I didn't even know who he was. And somebody told me his name.
Yeah.
And then my girl was like, hey, so are you playing next round? I was like, yeah, there's Quack Quack guy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Great. I know you guys had eyes on Lane Sleeth.
Yeah. So this is kind of wild, but I think we went through the whole gamut. So I'll tell you right now, you were our target. Okay.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
You don't have back-to-back picks.
Yeah.
Rafa or me?
I'll just say this, okay? Because this is actually true.
I need you to answer the question.
This is 100% true. We felt like the girls were thinner than the guys.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And we felt like there was 40 guys that could play. There's 20 guys out there right now that could at least be fine in Challenger.
Yeah.
That were not drafted. And so we were like, we got to target, because we didn't think there was any chance that you would be there and there's any chance that Rafa would be there.
Yeah.
And so we said, what guys, if they're there, do we take no matter what? Because ideally we thought that being back-to-back picks, 10 and 11, we're going to have to take a girl, because none of the top guys were going to be there. And we had to swing at one of these girls because they were so thin. We felt like we could get two guys later
that would still decent.
That would still be decent, but there wouldn't be very many girls.
Yeah.
And so our strategy, but then we were like, who are the two guys, if they fall to us, that we'll take no matter what. And it was you and it was Rafa.
Yeah.
And so the draft's going and George is sitting by me. And like the first pick, Eva goes, right? And we're like, okay. You know, and then second pick was, I can't remember. Jack Monroe.
Glossman.
And then Glossman. And then Jaume goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're about pick 6 or 7. And we're doing the math. And finally we're like, shit, we're going to get one of them. Yeah. We're getting DJ or Rafa.
Yeah.
So we made that choice right then. Like, we're going to take them. And then all of a sudden, as it starts to go, then we get to our pick. We're like, we can get both. And we were like jumping up and down, like giddy, dude. Like,
were you, George?
We were giddy. We were so pumped. And we're like, and we're looking at each other. George is next to me. We're like, holy shit, we're getting both.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting both of them. And Richie is on the phone. And Richie's like, are these, I won't say what he said, but he's like, I can't believe we're getting both. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, we were so pumped. And then, but then after that, so we take both of you guys. And we obviously, we were texting you. We're super excited. But then we're like, okay, now we got 20 picks we got to sit on.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah. And we're like, these girls, so what we decided was we're like, the girls are so thin. We got to find like diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And Lane Sleeth was one of these players who she just went to the NCAA finals in tennis.
Yeah.
She's brand new to pickleball, but she had played with a girl from Utah that we know in a tournament. And this girl that we know was like, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
But she's really, really raw.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, well, she's going to be there. Nobody's going to take her in the 3rd round.
And she ended up getting picked.
Well, she got picked in the 4th.
Yeah.
But what was crazy is we thought Amanda would be gone for sure. We thought Emily would be gone. And so we were like, okay, we gotta swing at somebody. And so right before the draft, this is the craziest part, is right before the draft, we're sitting at the Pickler and they put Lane on center court against Annalie. And we're watching it and she gets freaking
0-0. Double pickled.
And we're watching and we're like, we can't take her. Like, she's not ready. And had that not happened, I think we take Lane
over Emily at this point.
It probably
Amanda is really, really good.
Like, I don't think we thought that Amanda would have been there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, we didn't think Amanda would have been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we probably would have tried to take Lane. But had we knew it would play out where Amanda and Emily would have been there, then we would have passed. But what happened is we take Amanda and then we're looking at who to take in that 4th round, right?
Yeah.
And George actually deserves all the credit. George says, you can't screw up this team by taking a project. Ooh. He's like, this team is way too good for you guys to like take a project.
Yeah.
He's like, Emily is your pick. She's good. She's an MLP champion, right? She's a solid player, and he's like, we can't take a project when we have this, when everything fell exactly how we wanted.
Yeah.
Like, it was our dream scenario for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And so he's like, dude, you guys can't. And so we were like, yeah, we got to. Emily's rock solid. We know what we're going to get from her. We can pair her with Rafa, obviously, right? And she can play the left, and, they're going to be really good. Her and Amanda will be good together. They're friends.
Yeah.
And so at that point, we're like, we got to go with with what we know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we took Emily. And then, like, looking back, like, I don't want to say we dodged a bullet. Lane could still be a great player.
And she will be.
Yeah. But for this team, Emily, it makes way more sense.
Yeah, and it was not because I actually didn't know that Amanda and Emily got along so well, which obviously helps, right? Because I think when it comes to guys, for the most part, you can just be like, all right, like, we're boys, we'll figure it out. I play right, you play left, blah 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 blah. Yeah. With girls, I think it gets a little tougher because maybe they're not as outgoing as most of the guys are. Yeah. Maybe a little more kept to themselves. And so if you have 2 girls that don't know each other, that, never play together, and they're just kind of like, oh, yeah, hi, I'm Amanda.
Yeah, for sure. And, our very first, they stayed with each other.
Yeah, it was sick. I think it was awesome.
And, like, when we sent out, the group text, this is what people understand. Like, our team is freaking, like, they're tight.
You guys are
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, we sent out that thing. We're like, hey, do you guys want Airbnbs or hotels? They're like, we want to be like family. We want to, we would just want to make sure we're all hanging out and chilling and, I mean, I think that's what's so great about it is not only do we think we have insane players, but we also have really good people off the court.
Yeah.
And people that get along with each other. Yeah. And our group chat's hopping, bro.
It is at all times. Dude, I'm always on it. I'm the first one to reply.
Yeah.
I'm the first one that gets ignored too.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's just because it's like, bro, quit spamming the chat.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Jorge was the only. Jorge or George? Which one do you like?
His mom calls him Jorge.
It's got to be Jorge. I can't call you George. Okay, so you're George right now. Okay, all right.
Jorge's a superhero name.
Okay, all right, George. No, that's good. Yeah, and then after Emily, it was basically Angie Walker, Martina Frontoba, Lane, and Allie Phillips.
Yeah.
Would you have taken any of them leading up to, outside of like Lane, leading up to your pick, or do you?
I think if Emily wasn't there, I think we probably would have tried to go with Lane.
Yeah.
It just really depends because, like I said, dude, we felt like our team was so good at that point. Like, I think Lane's gonna be really good, right? She has all the strokes. She's crazy athletic. She's super fast. But if she's not ready, and you have 3 good players, it's like, are we just gonna lose every single women's match?
Yeah, it's tough.
Right, and that's tough, right? And then Rafa's gonna have to play with Lane. And do we lose a bunch of mixed matches because Lane's making too many mistakes and Rafa can't cover it? And then we're like, shit, we just ruined 3 insane picks by taking a chance because Lane's not quite ready. Yeah. And maybe next year or maybe in 6 months or whatever she is.
Yeah.
But it's like, at that point, is it too late? And so for us, we're like, dude, we want to be in Premier next year. Top 4 teams go to Premier.
Yeah.
And so, and we feel like,
does anyone drop, or is it just still
nobody drops? They go up, but you keep your team. And so for us, we're like, dude, if we're going up to Premier, we think we actually have a good enough team to compete in Premier right now.
What would it take for you guys to? Because I know there's trades between Challenger and Premier.
Yeah.
What would it take for you guys to give up me or Rafa?
I mean, it depends on obviously what are they gonna ask, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of. There's not many guys
that would drop.
But also not many guys that I think that would make us better. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, who in Premier? I mean, I think you guys are both Premier level players. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why not only was I surprised that you fell to, Challenger to begin with, but that you fell to the end of the first round in Challenger.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy for us. And so, I mean, I don't know who would, I could see Premier teams, like, truthfully, in after the first or second event being like, damn, maybe we should try and make a move.
Yeah.
To, bring up a DJ or bring up a Rafa. Right.
I still need you to answer if you would have picked Rafa or me. If you had the one pick,
if I had
you have to tell me.
If I had one pick, my number 1 person on my draft board, and I will show it to you, was you.
What did George think?
Now, Richie's number 1 person was Rafa, and you were his number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Rafa at number 2.
Okay.
So we were very much
yeah.
But Richie also has a long history with Rafa.
He does. That is true.
Yeah. George, we actually didn't give a say.
But DJ, were you our number 1 pick for a stack athlete?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that one more time.
You were our first pick for a stack athlete. So what do
You're the number 1 stack athlete.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. I think with George and Jimmy going with me number 1, I think we would have. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should feel good about that.
Stack. I love Stack. I can't wait for the new stuff to get in, bro. I'm so excited.
So it actually fit you?
Yeah. Well, the tank tops feel really nice, and I think my biceps genetics are insane. If I lift up my shirt, there's like nothing there.
Bro, do you like Lung brings bad name to tank tops though?
Yeah, but Lung doesn't have the genetics that I do.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, do you wish he would just put some sleeves on?
Who, Lung?
Yeah. Like, there's one guy that can rock the tank tops in pickleball, and it's you.
It's me, yeah. I think Tyson actually rocks them pretty well, too, personally.
He's okay, but, like, his are, like, like little kid sizes, like Oshkosh Bigosh. Like,
that's true. Guy. I mean, the fact that I can really fill in an XL, really says something about me.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think when I play with Lung, I would rather him wear like a tank top so you can actually match, especially if it's a stack.
This week, are you guys going stacked matching tank tops this weekend?
I'm gonna text him, so I hope we do.
You should. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to him, and we will. But yes, when it comes to the other shirts, the XL does not fit me.
No, it will though. The new ones will, right, George?
Yeah,
it's been fixed.
And I'm really looking forward to it. We had the Stack photo shoot back in Arizona where all the Stack athletes were there, and they showed us a bunch of the new stuff, and it was better. It felt better than like Lululemon and all that kind of stuff. So it was really sick. I like the color schemes a lot, even though I'm gonna stick with black.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, like what shade of black are you wearing this week?
Dark
and
black.
dark.
Dark black.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I guess the last thing that I want to ask is for the people that don't know, and I don't know, you are so involved with pickleball now. Are you still doing anything else outside of pickleball? Are you a family man?
Yeah, dude. So I like keep stuff kind of on the DL because
Yeah.
there's weirdos out there, bro. Like there's
is.
people that are like, yeah. But so my day job, I mean, pickleball's almost become full time. Like I could go full time pickle if I wanted to right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do mortgages. So I've been a mortgage broker for 15 years now.
So if I want to buy a house in Utah, talk to you.
Yeah. Anywhere though. I'm licensed in every state. hit me up. But yeah, pickle's kind of been the thing, that's kind of been the full-time thing. And, so yeah, it's funny because we get on the pod and Tyler will talk about his family and I don't really ever say anything just because it's been weird. Like I promise you, like even like the first couple episodes, like people will dox you, dude. They'll find you. And I had it happen. And so I just kind of keep that stuff on the down low, but my friends and they all know, but
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So
you are.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
No, it is crazy because, if you guys don't know, my baby girl was just born almost a month ago now. She's about 3 weeks and 4 days. Dude, like 2 days after she was born, like Pickleball.com or whatever it was, like made a whole article about it. And they like stole some pictures from like my fiance's Instagram. And I was just kind of like tripping, like, dude, what is like, because I'm not posting anything just because it feels like a little bit too much. For me personally, for everyone to like, see what I'm doing at all times with my life. Where it's already out there, and I want to keep some of the things personal.
Exactly, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, and then like she's born, and 2 days later, there's like a picture of me on Google with her in the hospital, and it's like, jeez.
Yeah,
bro,
they didn't even ask like that.
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, they just took some screenshots out of her Instagram.
Bro, that's
and then
crazy.
They just posted it, and somebody sent it to me.
That's like TMZ stuff.
Yeah.
That
was interesting. But I'm going to open up. I'm going to say, huge shout out to the Pickler first and foremost. Thank you to Stack for always supporting me. Something with Engage. New energy drink F3. I already had 3 of those today. They're awesome. Bodie grips. I'm using them now. And thank you to Head Pickleball shoes for.
Those shoes are sick. Too.
Yeah, dude. I don't use that color. But the 4.5 they just came out with is sick, and I use the black and I use the white.
You wear the black? Weird.
The black. Yeah, it's a very light shade of dark.
Yeah.
But is there anything you want to bring up, talk about?
No, dude. Like I'm glad we can do this. Like, I mean, the other thing, dude, just is Black Bears were pumped to have you. Like, dude. I remember one of the first times I talked to Richie on the phone. He went to Newport to scout some players. This was back in like June of 2023.
Yeah.
And he was walking in and he said, damn, DJ Young's a big bastard.
A big bastard.
Do you remember this? Like he was talking about how big you were, like in person, like saying you were jacked.
Okay.
And you took the phone from him. Do you remember this, dude?
I don't.
And he said, who are you talking to? And you said Jimmy. And you're like, Jimmy Miller, like the podcast guy? And you got on the phone.
It was Richie?
It was Richie. And you got on the phone and you were like, dude, listen to your podcast. So funny, blah, blah, blah. And then like we talked for probably like 2 or 3 minutes and then you gave it back to Richie. It was,
in Newport.
I think it was.
The story sounds super familiar.
Yeah, I think it was
the fact
Newport.
that I'm a big bastard, I think it's really funny.
Yeah, he was saying it like he's like DJ's a big, like saying like you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were standing by and you guys were walking in together, I guess.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because I get 2 things. So basically, I'll go up to somebody will come up to me and be like, I thought you were taller.
Yeah.
And then
George gets that a lot too.
And then the other one is, dude, you're massive. Like you're a tank.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, I'm probably like 6'2", and I'm weighing around like 220.
Yeah.
And I'm not like out of shape or anything.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself decently big. And, it's funny when someone that's like 5'5" comes up to you and they're like, oh, I thought you were bigger.
Yeah, like, bro, what?
What
did you expect?
What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah. But yeah, that was So that was he like handed you the phone and like we talked for a minute.
Big bastard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him change my name on his phone to the Big Bastard.
You should.
But yeah,
You
no,
should.
thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
over. I know you had
No,
lunch
bro.
today with Drew Brees and all the Pickler team, Black
Yeah.
Bears team. Thank you, Black Bears, for drafting me. I'm super excited. We're gonna kill it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
get a premiere next year.
Yep. Let's
And
do it.
thanks, George, for being one of the visitors here in the pod.
Honestly, best thing they ever did was not put your face on camera, though.
You want to say hi real quick?
No.
All of them.
Oh gosh. Oh,
There it
geez.
is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Let's edit that.
And yeah, thanks again, bro. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure having you. And let's talk soon.
Appreciate it, bro.